I need the Black community to listen to me and listen to me well. I need you to share this information with everyone you know, and I need you to stay for this entire video. I have been trying to sound the alarm on something that is going on that I believe is going to affect us by this summer, and it is being strategically done, and we have already seen it happen in other countries, but I'm not getting the message to the target audience. So if you see this comment, say something, do anything, so we can protect our own. Now, I have made multiple videos about Indiana and how they have become the center for ICE, as well as the center for a lot of trials that they want to do globally. I have made it painfully aware of the different legislation that is being passed that can potentially harm the Black community, that is aimed directly at our community. And as someone who lives in a predominantly Black area, one of the only predominantly Black areas in Indiana, I want you to know Palantir billboards have been popping up. A few months ago, I warned you about how they are using Indiana as a center for ICE and that they are gearing up and planning something over the summer, and it has nothing to do with Hispanics. I also read to you the piece of legislation that was passed and how they have been strategically removing Black people from institutions in Indiana as well as other locations. But the over-policing of Black people in my community especially has reached an entirely new level, and we've already seen this happen, and Joe Rogan just brought it up on his podcast. 2 days ago, Palantir billboards popped up in my community, and Palantir billboards also popped up in 2 other predominantly Black areas across the country, and I'm gonna prove it to you. And Palantir billboards popping up in this specific community in which I live that is majority Black doesn't make any sense because it's a very underdeveloped city. Like, the city is damn near eroding. Now, these billboards displayed Palantir, and they said America's future. These billboards were also implemented in 2 locations in Ohio as well as Pennsylvania. They were put in Cleveland, which is predominantly Black, as well as Youngstown and Braddock and Wheeling, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. All of these communities are at least 80% Black and considered underdeveloped or eroding. Right after the Palantir billboards popped up in my community, I kid you not, they have started implementing drones. These drones are used as surveillance, and they are going around surveillancing Black neighborhoods with drones and also issuing tickets for any infraction on the road. Literally, it's getting creepy. I don't know if you just saw the Theo Von podcast with Joe Rogan talking about how Palantir was used in that one place to help facilitate the mass you-know-what aside, and how they used surveillance, and some of the fire was coming from down, not what we thought. Peter Thiel has talked about a surveillance state and how he's felt about the Black community. But what I don't think people understand is what they're using and going to test on us. And it's getting closer and closer, and I see it in my own fucking community. For Palantir billboards to pop up, and then right after we have drones flying over our fucking city, issuing tickets. And we have the over-policing and gentrification of an area because police officers from every jurisdiction have only been in this area, in my neighborhood and community. Multiple jurisdictions and counties are patrolling this area to the point you can't turn a corner without someone being on the corner. Indiana has forced compliance with ICE. They are using Indiana as a training ground and have stated so for ICE agents. I know for a fact, Black communities, the deployment of Palantir in them is not a fucking coincidence, and I am seeing it firsthand, and I need y'all to wake up. I know we're resting, but we can't be blind. While we're sitting on our asses, they're pulling shit right in front of us, and no one's listening. I can't say too much, but I have to take a break from distraction and get back to fucking reality. If there was ever a time to come together, I'm 100% certain just from looking out my window, it's fucking now.
What happens when the water runs out? What happens when the food runs out? What happens when that shortage is just supposed to be a temporary shortage ends up being a long-term shortage? What happens when that dollar no longer holds its value BRICS, you should be looking up BRICS. If you don't understand what BRICS is, BRICS, you should be researching that. You should be understanding what that is. What happens when the world no longer cooperates with the United States tyrannical rule? What happens when the ship that you're depending on sinks? What happens when this country collapses? Will you go down with the ship? The problem with a lot of pro-black talk is we don't seem to comprehend the long-term effect. We don't seem to comprehend or think of what's to come in the future. I understand the war talk. I understand the self-defense talk. But where we miss a lot of times is we are engulfed, surrounded by a failing nation, a nation that owes everybody in the world money, a nation that owes everybody in the world something, a nation that is in everybody's business, a nation that is meddling and manipulating everybody's business around the world. And there's a breaking point to this. There's a point, whether if it's China, Russia, Africa, whoever, the many laundry list of enemies this country has, there is a breaking point where everyone will say no more. You can look to Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso. You can look at Putin. You can look at China. You can look everywhere in the world. If you are not completely sold, if you are not completely brainwashed and conditioned by American propaganda, and see what the play is. It isn't even so much so warfare physically. It's cyber, it's agricultural, it's mental, emotional, social media warfare. It's all of this. See, everyone knows that the American military is not nothing to play with. So a lot of the other countries and continents are treading on a line while trying to figure out how to combat this enemy. African Americans, Mexican Americans, Native Americans, we're the only ones on enemy soil that have the potential to do the most damage because we're here domestically. So I'm gonna ask again, will you go down with the ship? Because this ship will sink. This ship is sinking. It don't take much research for you to learn that. I want Black people, Native Americans, Hispanic Americans to stop with this bullshit. There is no real issue here between Black, Native American, Hispanic, okay? There's no real issue. Here's what happens. Black people have a bad experience with Hispanics. Black people have a bad experience with Native Americans. Native Americans have a bad experience with Black people. Hispanic people have a bad experience with Native Americans and Black people. And then we all just close our doors to each other for good. We have a common enemy. We have common history. There is no reason to shut your doors to each other. Everybody experiences a bad apple in the bunch. But one bad apple in that bunch can spoil the entire bunch. So we have to understand that these self-hatred monsters, these individuals that have been consumed by their own trauma, consumed by their own experiences, and that has been the conditioning method that they've created entire narratives and ideology around. We can't have that. Those individuals are too dangerous for this community because they become harmful and self-destructive to the narrative that we're trying to push forward. If you hope to push forward unity, whether if it's in the Black community, Hispanic community, Native American community, you cannot have any self-destructive people in it. You can't have none of the whitewashness, whether if it's Black, Native American, or Hispanic. You can't have no sellouts. You can't have none of them halfway pro-Black, halfway whitewashed people. You can't have none of it. You have to be very, very meticulous and careful in how you let people in the gate. That is the only place where gatekeeping is good. We have to start gatekeeping this community. You know who contributes? You know who benefits from us being a mess? From us sitting up here trying to tear each other apart every 5 seconds over everything and anything? One group of people. You know who benefits, right? So if you know who benefits, you should be going against it at all costs. At all costs. If I have a problem with Black women, that's my issue with Black women. I will not sit up here and disparage and disrespect them on social media waves or period, for the simple fact that I know who's watching this. And I know what validation that they're trying to seek out. You got individuals that follow me right now, not just white, Black, Native American, Hispanic, whitewashed, sellout individuals that are just waiting in the shadows, that are just watching just to be nosy, that are just watching just to keep tabs on me. They operate on keep my friends close, but my enemies closer. I also understand that lifestyle. I understand the rule. So they can't get out of our business. They can't leave us alone because their very existence as a sellout is dependent upon keeping us underneath a white thumb. And lastly, if you've gotten this far, nothing I ever do for this community will be advertised on the internet. That goes for that video I posted, that video. Nothing I do will be shown. Nothing, no action I take will be shown on the internet. If you have to question that and you don't understand why, you're part of the problem and you need to get the hell off my page.
When black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough to think for themselves as other humans are intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, then the black man will think like a black man, and he will feel for other black people. And this new thinking and feeling will cause black people to stick together. And then at that point, you'll have a situation where when you attack one black man, you are attacking all black men. And this type of black thinking will cause all black people to stick together. And this type of thinking also will bring an end to the brutality inflicted upon black people by white people. And it is the only thing that will bring an end to it. No federal court, state court, or city court will bring an end to it. It's something that the black man has to bring an end to himself.
Yeah, but the question is more, how do you get there? Do you get there by confrontation, violence?
Oh, is that the question you were asking?
Yeah.
See, that's another thing. When you talk about a revolution, most people think violence, without realizing that the real content of any kind of revolutionary thrust lies in the principles and the goals that you're striving for, not in the way you reach them. On the other hand, because of the way this society is organized, because of the violence that exists on the surface everywhere, you have to expect that there are going to be such explosions. You have to expect things like that as reactions. If you are a black person and live in the black community all your life and walk out on the street every day seeing white policemen surrounding you, when I was living in Los Angeles, for instance, long before the situation in LA ever occurred, I was constantly stopped. No, the police didn't know who I was, but I was a black woman and I had a natural, and they, I suppose, thought that I might be a, quote, militant. And when you live under a situation like that constantly, and then you ask me, whether I approve of violence. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense at all. Whether I approve of guns. I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. Some very, very good friends of mine were killed by bombs that were planted by racists. I remember from the time I was very small, I remember the sounds of bombs exploding across the street, our house shaking. I remember my father having to have guns at his disposal at all times because of the fact that at any moment we might expect to be attacked. The man who was at that time in complete control of the city government, his name was Bull Connor, would often get on the radio and make statements like, niggers have moved into a white neighborhood, we better expect some bloodshed tonight. And sure enough, there would be bloodshed. In my neighborhood, all of the men organized themselves into an armed patrol. They had to take their guns and patrol our community every night because they did not want that to happen again. I mean, that's why when someone asks me about violence, I just find it incredible. Because what it means is that the person who's asking that question has absolutely no idea what black people have gone through, what black people have experienced in this country since the time the first black person was kidnapped from the shores of Africa.
Our problem has been, as black people, we've always been concerned about white America, never about us. And what we've always thought is that white America equal the same interest as us. That is not true. we must now be concerned with us. Let me give you some examples. We always want to prove what good Americans we are. The very first man to die for the War of Independence in this country was a black man named Crispus Adams. Crispus Adams. He was a fool. Because here he was dying for white folk freedom, and millions of his brothers were enslaved in the very country.
Let us move on to our next questioner at the microphone over there. Mr. Edelman.
Welcome to America, Mr. Mandela. I'm Ken Edelman. Those of us who share your struggle for human rights and against apartheid have been somewhat disappointed by the models of human rights that you have held up since being released in jail. You've met over the last 6 months 3 times with Yasser Arafat, who you have praised. You have told Gaddafi that you share the view and applaud him on his record of human rights and his drive for freedom and peace around the world. And you have praised Fidel Castro as a leader of human rights and said that Cuba was one of the countries that's head and shoulders above all other countries in human rights, despite the fact that documents at the United Nations and elsewhere show that Cuba is one of the worst. I was just wondering, are these your models of leaders of human rights? And if so, would you want a Gaddafi or an Arafat or a Castro to be a future president of South Africa?
One of the mistakes which some political analysts make is to think that their enemies should be our enemies.
People be getting up here trying to teach history and be like, oh, they burned down everything that we created. They ruined everything that we created, this, that, and the third, right? But y'all, mind you, the people who burnt down everything that the black community was creating is the blue party. And the funny thing is, they not even changing it. No, they just repackaged it. They know that they cannot burn down your neighborhoods and ruin y'all businesses no more. So you know what they did? They rolled in the immigrants for cheaper labor to pocket extra money, allegedly. They gave them loans, let them open up businesses in your neighborhood. Mind you, your family been in that city for generations and y'all can't own shit. And if they do, they put very strict restrictions on y'all stuff. But mind you, these people get here within 1 or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and they opening up buildings, they opening up businesses, they opening up, like, I honestly feel like they need to do a sweep because that shit ain't fair. They opening up hair stores in y'all communities. Listen, this is what pisses me off, right? Oftentimes you hear black Americans be like, oh, well, we want reparations and this, that, and the third. That's understanding. But let me tell you something. You bring in 1.8 trillion to 4.8 trillions of dollars in revenue with your talent, and you motherfuckers don't make nothing off of it. And they got y'all thinking that the red party, and mind you, I don't belong to no political party, but they got y'all thinking that they terrible individuals for trying to get y'all off of governmental assistance. It's not that. It's because they know y'all will thrive if y'all wake the fuck up. Y'all would thrive. Y'all bring in trillions of dollars in revenue. You don't need no fucking governmental assistance. You need to take back your culture, your community, and the things that y'all have created, and stop going to these other people who drop off businesses in y'all neighborhoods. The reason why y'all not thriving the way y'all did on Black Wall Street is because y'all keep putting the money outside your community. Your money is only supposed to run throughout the black American community, not nowhere else. That's why y'all not thriving the way that y'all used to. And they know that they cannot burn down y'all neighborhoods no more. So what they do is they give y'all rugs, they give y'all violence, they give y'all drama, this music that's just ruining everything, this reckless music. They give y'all all the terrible things because they want y'all to destroy yourselves. They don't care about y'all unaliving each other because the plan was to depopulate the black American community from the beginning any damn ways. Why they wanted y'all to do that so that way they could become the majority, so that way even the immigrants can become the majority. That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted. So that way you can be the second class person in your own damn country, or your own land, I should say. Y'all are beyond rich. Y'all are the richest people on the planet. The only thing is y'all wealth is not going back into y'all community. Y'all wealth is going to these other fucking people, when y'all supposed to own everything that y'all created. Yeah, the reason why y'all spending power is $1.8 to $4.8 trillion is because most of this shit that y'all spending money on is things that y'all created. It's no different from the D-boy literally getting high off his own product. It's no different. Nigga, you're not making profit, nigga, because you damn near being the consumer of your own shit and somebody else making the profits. Y'all have to start thinking outside the box. You wouldn't need, with all the respect, whether you get reparations or not, y'all would have been up a long time ago. Y'all would have been up. Y'all would have been up a long time ago. The wig industry, the nails industry, the beauty industry, the makeup industry, the natural skincare industry, the hair, the bundles, the wigs, the lashes, the long dramatic nails that we do that's ghetto, the hood culture, all the shit that they've been commercializing and making billions and trillions of dollars off of, y'all could have been filthy fucking rich. Black Americans are the richest people on the planet, but they don't own none of their shit. They don't. Everybody on the planet live off of you. Everybody. White America too. They do too. Although the half of the shit that we do, they don't like. These executives, they live off of y'all. The small hats live off of y'all. The people with the turbans who move here and open up hair stores in your neighborhood, they live off of y'all. The Chinese live off of y'all coming to their nail salon or coming to their restaurants. The Asians live off of y'all. The Arabs live off of y'all when they come to the hair stores. The Indians live off of y'all when they migrate from their countries and open up hair stores in y'all neighborhoods. The gas stations. The small hats run the entertainment industry allegedly. Everything that y'all have created, somebody else owned. And y'all keep talking about reparations. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about no reparations right now. I'm talking about the fact that we bringing in trillions of dollars and we don't see none of that shit, gang. Y'all keep trying to be conspiracy theories when it comes to Hollywood, but y'all not even realizing y'all the celebrities in Hollywood. Y'all really are. The same with how all these people getting played out their contracts, all these other people giving them a portion while they sit up there and make all this money off of these people pumping the hell out of them for their money. It's the same thing happening with y'all. You talking about reparations? I don't want to hear about no fucking reparations. Nigga, I want more than reparations. I want what they keep stealing right now. I want what they taking at the present moment. I don't give a fuck about no reparations right now. Yeah, that's nice to have. Yes, I would love that as well. But nigga, I'm talking about the right now moment, nigga. The culture that all the other immigrants are trying to take away from black Americans by calling it black culture when it's black American culture. Louisiana, Cali, New York, Harlem, Florida, especially the whole South Florida, Texas, all of these cultural things that black Americans in the South and in certain parts of the world or the country have created, everybody trying to claim it. And that's exactly how they even getting rich off of y'all. They getting rich off of y'all and y'all paying by using it against the American gov to criticize them and creating all these funding programs and all this other shit to launder money throughout the system for themselves and their country and their people. That's why everybody is rich off of the black American. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Listen, I'm telling y'all, why do you think when the black Americans don't give a fuck, nobody else give a fuck? Why do you think all these foreign entities, they always mention the black Americans when they argue with this administration? Because the black Americans are like the main characters of the story, truth be told. This they own motherfucking house, they land. Everybody lying because they want hush money, or everybody lying because they're afraid that if these motherfuckers wake up, this shit over with. We all gonna take a L. They keep utilizing our trauma because they want y'all to say, oh my God, I need to go back to the blue party because, oh my God, look at what we did. And the funny thing is the trauma that they keep on mentioning, that all these foreign entities keep on mentioning, that the black Americans experience, all of it was created by the blue party. So they're not even realizing they pew-pewing themselves in the foot. Folks, with all due respect, I'm not even really thinking about no reparations. I'm trying to figure out how the fuck we finna get the 1.8 trillion back in the black American community. And the reason why the red administration is trying to get y'all off this shit and off these benefits and government assistance, because they know when the black Americans ain't got no other option, they're gonna find a way. That's what y'all did back in the days, nigga. How you think you had all these black Wall Streets, nigga? Y'all found a way. Y'all wasn't accepted in most places. Y'all couldn't go in most places. Y'all found a way. They know this already. So they have to strip all of that shit from y'all so that way y'all can get back to what y'all been doing. Y'all are the richest people on the planet, but y'all ain't got shit to show for it. Y'all allow everybody to come in and cosplay and to dress up and do what y'all do. You can't even tell the difference between really with Americans and black immigrants no more. You really can't. Everybody have the black American aesthetic. When they move here, everything gets changed up. They have the whole black American aesthetic. You can't even really tell the difference. Me personally, I don't know. I can tell the difference because where I'm from. But other than that, you can't really tell the difference. And I feel like, yeah. The thing I'm saying is y'all should claim y'all culture because y'all should be the main ones benefiting off of everything that y'all created. Other people should not be monetizing off of y'all. When you are an indigenous tribe or any tribe, because the black Americans, regardless of what, you still a tribe, you don't allow other people to mimic you or do what you do or share your identity with them. Because this is nothing new. Throughout ancient history, tribes fought against other people identifying as them because when people identify as you, they can steal your wealth. And that's exactly what the fuck everybody been doing. They just did it a different way. And the problem is a lot of people don't know the system. That's how they're not seeing it. When you do research on the system, you'll realize a lot of these people been scamming the fuck out of the black American community. The whole thing is rigged. Y'all have to get back on y'all Zoom. Me personally, I don't like shopping with nobody that ain't me. I don't like it. Hence as to how I end up starting my own shit. I don't. No. If anybody gonna be getting rich, it's gonna be us. We gonna be rich off of each other. And you have to get rid of the crabs in the bucket mentality because that shit is created by the racist party and the racist people.